Haters, huh? Well, okay. I figured I would make a video on this because, I've noticed that I have one or two people that always dislike my videos. It seems. At least I think it's the same person. I love having someone that is so obsessed with my channel that they fucking dislike every video I make. Hello, my number one fan. How are you? I figured I'd give you this chance to identify yourself. I really don't care. I don't even care if people watch these or not. I somewhat care if people put money on Patreon or not, because that'll be cool if that becomes a thing. I'd love to, take this show up a notch, so to speak. My ultimate goal is to get interview guests on, and I want my interview guests to be semi-famous to famous and interesting. I've got a couple lined up already that I'm excited about, and the one that I'm hoping to get is Bill O'Reilly. I think he's on the outs enough that he might be a low enough level celebrity to actually do my show. I'm gonna see. He has a YouTube channel now, and I like watching him. And I've liked Bill O'Reilly since I was like a kid, so I figure I can write him a letter that will fucking sell him on coming on my show. I would love to do that. There's a lot of ones I would love to do. Um, Honestly, a lot of the people that I like have a lot of haters. Bill O'Reilly has a lot of fucking haters. And Beck has even more. If you're not doing something right if you don't have haters. I guess is my opinion and thoughts. And I like being judged by my enemies, and my enemies are like Nazis and shit. So I must be pretty awesome. I think that's really what this whole thing is. Is Nazis think they're so superior and whatever and yada yada yada, and they hate transgender people and gay people and Jews and yada yada yada. So I'm just gonna sit here and talk shit until one of y'all comes and tries it. I don't care. Be your funeral. That's where I'm at with it. I got sent pictures of my grandmother in her front yard. That's why I don't talk to certain people anymore. And the reason I don't talk to those people isn't because of that. It's because of their sphere of influence includes people that were doing that to me, and I couldn't do it anymore. There was a few other things too. Uh, to be honest, I am a happy fucking person now. I was miserable talking to E Honda every night. I hope they're all doing well, and I even wish E Honda well. To be honest, I can't stand to be in the same room with him anymore, and as a result, don't really feel like talking to many of the boys either. So I think this is just probably going to be the me show from here on, unless Duke and Angry still want to do the Red Dawn podcast. We'll see about that, but I'm wanting to build something cool and fun here, and kind of do what I was doing on Instagram, but on YouTube. And if I can get anybody interested in actually watching some of this and interested in the projects I do, then I'll be happy. That's where I'm at with it. I was thrilled to be making $20 on Patreon. I think it's cool. I find it difficult to be in a world that I know for a fact to be fake. And like when you see the fakeness, it's hard. It's hard not to see it. Makes it really hard for me even to go to most people's houses. Most people don't actually live in the real world. Most people have created a small bubble of them and what they want other people to think of and see of them. And we live in a very fake world. People don't like me, I think, because I am the rock that does not break. A lot of people don't get that, but like there have been many a water that have broken upon this rock. And when I say people, I mean like the heads of fucking schools, the heads of businesses, the heads of governments have bent the knee to me. But what I mean by that is in a negotiation or something like that, I won. And it's hard to be able to do that just, you know, because you can, and then take anyone else seriously about their power. And the reason I say that is because there's a whole bunch of people in the US that are obsessed with power because they think that their money gives them power. And in reality, their money is useless. It's useful in a courtroom. I'm not really interested in a courtroom anymore. Um, I think, just to be honest, a lot of what's wrong with America is the fact that we have allowed our political and judicial systems to become corrupt and criminalized to the point that they no longer even serve the public. It's sad. I don't know what we do about that. There's a lot of this it's like I don't know what we do about it. And there's a lot of this that's like, well, that's why I think we are best probably just walk away. I think we are best to find our own country, to be honest. But like, there's a solid argument to be made for putting up a gigantic border wall completely around like Texas and any states that border her that are willing to join her. Because like in reality, Texans, any of the states that border you that are willing to just go with you, you should take because you're going to need land and resources and shit, and they have those. And like I would form, the Republic of New Texas or some shit. It's what I would call it, even if it included Oklahoma and Louisiana and shit. Like Louisiana would be a good score. It has its issues and whatever, but like it has a big port, big old port. Like if you could get Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, you could have a new country. And this is 100% what we should do. They stole the last election. Go watch 1,000 Mules. It's plain to see. And I figure by talking about crazy shit so much and whatever, I'm probably like outside the algorithm by this point, so I might be able to talk about this on here. That's my theory. My theory behind doing a lot of the shit that I've been doing over the last month or so is convincing powers that be not to look at me anymore. And now that I've gotten that done, I really like to continue talking about crazy shit because it masks what we do here. And like what we do here is discuss how we're going to vote as a group of people, basically. This is a homesteading / political channel, I guess. It's my own political agenda mixed into what I'm doing in my life. And my political agenda is that the United States of America continue in some capacity, and Washington has decided to abandon the Constitution. And I think like there are elections coming up where we could turn this around. But what if those elections are stolen too? How will we ever trust those elections? We're having an election in my state for the governor. And there's all sorts of fucking shit in the mail and on the news talking shit about Kevin Stitt. From what I can tell, Kevin Stitt's doing a good job. I don't really know. I haven't looked into him that much, to be honest, but he's backed by Trump, and to some extent, that's all I need to know right now. He's not one of them. He's not one of the fuckers that are doing this. Doesn't seem to be. Although some of them are Republicans. But if he's endorsed by Trump, he's not one of them. You know? That's kind of where I stand on a lot of this shit. I'm not encouraging you to like start a civil war or anything like that. What I'm encouraging you to do is to ready yourself to be a soldier. And what I mean by that is physically and mentally prepare and prepare your, life and everything for doing this. Become the Greek citizen soldier. Have your own land and your own weapons and your own food and do your own thing. And like this is going to be the way that we beat them, I think. Because eventually there's going to be enough of us doing this that they don't control all the votes eventually. That's what I'm encouraging here is what they are doing is building a new aristocracy in America that is going to be landowners and corporations that own land and shit like that. And it's about to be much, much better to be a man who owns 5 acres of land in the middle of nowhere than a man that doesn't. This is my opinion. This is like based on ways the world could go. And ways the world could go is like neo-feudalism. If we do have a collapse of the empire, the last time the Roman Empire fell, which is what we are now, this is 100% the Neo-Roman Empire, much as Britain was beforehand. Like it's really America and Britain have one empire, and it kind of all got blended together or whatever. And we came in and we saved our mom's house. That's what we did, because we're a good son. But now, like the mortgage is due again, and we're getting old, and we can't bear that burden anymore. And it's about to be time to give this fucking empire to somebody. And I don't know who that's going to be. And 1 second. And some of the options for who it could be are dark and horrible. Like China is a real threat. And this is the thing, like, because no one views the world this way out inside of the US, they don't see this. China and Russia see this. They are expanding their own territorial powers because they can. And like this is the road to war. I guess every so many generations we're going to have to prove to the world that we can kill them all. And if we fail at that, or if they attack our homeland, we need to be a hardened target. And that's a lot of what this channel is about. And I hope if there is someone at the CIA or FBI that watches this channel, that they watch this episode. My goal here is to have free Americans armed and on their own land and able to resist, whether it be a fucking runaway government or an invading fucking force. This is what the Second Amendment is all about. That's what this channel is really all about. This is like the two-way homesteading channel. Like if you wanted to hear about guns and homesteading, guns and prepping, that's kind of what this channel is going to be about, with a lot of like religion and melee weapons mixed in, and a lot of interviews, hopefully, unless we just never get any more famous people. That'll suck. Oh. I miss chatting with the guys. I would really like to start my own chat, but I don't know who to invite. I don't even know what we talk about. I really enjoy getting to, journal away some thoughts basically on here. That's kind of what this is to me. Is like this is whatever survives this. Google's hard drives probably will, and I want to leave something for the world. And maybe someday someone could write a book based on all of these or something. I don't know. These are like the COVID tapes. COVID was an interesting time. I think I was basically a vector for disease, but that's a story for a different day. And it's not even COVID. That's an STD joke for those who didn't get that one. Oh. Anyway, I'm going to cut this off here. Thanks to my haters for continuing to fuel what I do, I guess. I don't really understand you. I don't know why you would dislike a video about this shit, but okay. And for the record, like, I don't think that I particularly know anything that anybody doesn't. I just think I'm pretty smart and look at things in a different way from most people. And I have no reason not to talk. Like, every reason that I've ever had that they could ever use against me to shut me up has been taken care of, basically, now. Except for Grandma, and she's 78 years old. She'll be okay. Basically, I'm betting that Grandma is probably gone before they start trying to fucking fuck with me the way they do Bob Lazar. Some of the shit that I'm saying here, I think, is so on the money that they're going to start fucking with me like that. Mainly to do with the fact that everything about that you know about the end of World War II is a lie. Everything. I have become more convinced that Patton's death was not an accident, even. I don't know exactly what's up with that. He didn't die in a Jeep accident. And I think it was one of those things like he knew a great deal and he had a big mouth. He was very Donald Trump-ish. Trump and Patton have a fuck ton in common, and it's weird. I'm not saying he's like him reincarnated or something like that, but it's like distant family relation, maybe similar ideas even. It's half the thing I always liked about Trump is I listened to what he said, and I liked what he said, and I liked the fact that he pissed people off. I really liked that. I I'm not hoping for 4 more years of Trump necessarily. I like the idea of 4 more years of Trump as a fuck you to them. I really like the idea of 4 more years of anybody but Biden, because that's what the America really needs. I think. Like, oh, this has been the worst presidency in the history of America, and that's saying a lot. I understand what happened under Andrew Johnson after the Civil War. I'm saying that what's going on right now is going to cause shit worse than that. I think that's the thing a lot of people don't get about me is that everything that I thought was going to happen when COVID became a pandemic has now come to pass, basically. Some of it's taken longer than others. And some of it's been a lessened version for whatever reason. And I think it's like the world is timid. The world is uneasy to do what they know to do. Because we're in this new world where everyone's a fucking pod person. And I think Russia attacking the Ukraine is the last of the old breed questioning the pod people. That's a video for another day. But I think it should concern us all that we're building robots now and AI and turning ourselves into pod people. And then gonna like upload us all to some sort of collective thing. I wouldn't want to be uploaded into a collective fucking hive mind thing like what they're wanting to do. I couldn't imagine anyone actually wanting to do that. And in short, that's where I think this ends, maybe. There's a lot of places this could end, but like, it seems to me that there's some sort of weird ass Nazi goal. I don't fully understand it. Like, this is the thing that, like, I think a lot of people should get about this channel is that this channel is asking a lot of questions more than it's giving answers. I know some things. Some things I just flat out don't know, and I'm pondering about. And if you do know something about this stuff, fucking hit me up in the comments. The thing that gets to me about all of this is that all of the fucking alien people, basically, if they talk about the fact that the UFOs first showed up over Nazi Germany, they talk about it for 4 seconds at the start of their documentary. That's all they talk about it. Why? This is what's interesting. What is this connection between UFOs, Nazi Germany, and like the CIA and shit like that? And there's a lot of weird answers for that, and none of them are particularly good. We live in a much weirder world than most people are willing to admit. The weirdest story I ever heard was from a Navy SEAL. Maybe I'll make that another video. I'll make that its own video. I'll make that a scary stories with Ray Ray. I'll do that next. Go watch that if you're still watching. It's going to be about giants and copper and fucking oil. See you there.